Hello, my name is Richard Crevo of Daily FX Education, and I'm here today to talk with you about how I use the RSI indicator, the Relative Strength Index, in my trading. The first thing regarding the RSI is it's an oscillator, and an oscillator is going to show you when there's bullish momentum favored in a trade and when there's bearish momentum favored in a trade. And it does this, the RSI does it, by looking at the average positive price changes and comparing them to the average negative price changes over a period of time. And the period that Wells Wilder, and he's the inventor of the RSI indicator, that he suggests using is 14. So if you've got an RSI indicator on a daily chart and you're looking at a 14 period range, what it's doing is it's looking at the average of the RSI movement over the previous 14 periods, in this case a day. Now the RSI indicator is most popularly used to determine when a currency pair is either oversold, which is in that below 30 area, or in the overbought area, which is above 70. And you can see a scale on the right-hand side here of any RSI indicator that goes from 0 at the bottom to 100 at the top. So when the RSI is below 30, oversold. When the RSI is over 70, overbought. Now, this particular scenario that I've laid out here with overbought and oversold gets a lot of new traders into dicey trading situations sometimes, because their initial thought process is, as soon as the RSI gets into oversold territory, it's got to immediately get out of that oversold territory and start gravitating toward the top. That's probably going to happen, but there's nothing that says it's going to happen immediately. Once the RSI is in oversold territory or in overbought territory, it can stay there for quite some time. And I mean days and sometimes weeks. So you can see the problem when the RSI moves down below 30 and a trader immediately thinks they've got to go long because it's oversold, and the RSI continues to move lower and lower and lower. Keep in mind that once an RSI is in oversold territory or overbought territory, it can become more and more and more oversold. It can become more and more and more overbought. So the signal you're looking for is not when it drops into either of those two areas, but rather when it comes out after having been in there. So if the RSI drops below 30, what you're waiting for your buying signal is for it to close above 30. That's the signal to go long. Or after it's been above 70, when it drops below 70 and closes below 70, that's your signal to short the pair. So keep that in mind when using the RSI, because it's going to be critical to your trading. Now, the RSI indicator, while it's useful in a variety of aspects in trading, it's most useful when trading in a range or trading in a channel. And I won't get into a lot of specifics on range trading with the RSI or range trading in general, because we have a specific video dedicated to that. One of the things I want to mention here too is that you want to trade the chart first and the indicator second. Now, what I mean by that is some folks will get into the habit of trading the indicator. Oh, the RSI is telling me to go long, or the RSI is telling me to go short. What's the chart telling you? I don't know. You want to look at the chart first. For example, here a pair is trading up, and then it flattens out and trades into a range. And right now, this pair has just completed a down cycle in this range, so I want to take the pair long. And I want to look to the RSI for confirmation so I can fine-tune that entry. So I know I want to go long at this point, but I don't know when I want to do it. So I'm going to look down here at RSI, and I see the RSI. I've just abbreviated it quite a bit down here, but the RSI has gone below 30, and then it's come above 30. And so I know that bullish momentum is then in play, and it's going to favor my long position as I want to trade this to the upside. What I don't want to do is ignore the chart up here and just say, oh, the RSI is telling me to go long, without looking at the chart. What if the RSI is telling me to go long, but the pair is in the middle of the range? I don't want to take that trade. So look at the chart first, and then the indicator second, and then go forward from there. Another way that I use RSI in the trading is to determine whether or not divergence is present in the currency pair that I'm looking at. Divergence is when price action is moving in one direction and the indicator is moving in the other. Now, what I've drawn here on the board is negative divergence, and it's negative divergence because the indicator is going down and price action is going up. And what this divergence is telling me, when the price action is, when the RSI is going down, that's telling me that the momentum behind this trade is fading. So what's been driving the price up is fading. So we know from that at some point, we don't know precisely when though, at some point this pair is going to start moving to the downside. And that's all divergence can tell you. It kind of alerts you to the fact that, hey, be on the lookout for a potential change in direction on this pair. And then it's up to you to look for maybe some candlestick patterns, a fib level, support resistance level, to see where this pair, might begin to move down to the other side. So divergence can be helpful in that direction. Now, there's, like I said, negative divergence here. We also have positive divergence. Positive divergence would be where the indicator is going up and price is coming down. And in that case, you'd be looking, where here we're looking for price to drop. In a positive divergence situation, we'd be looking for price to move to the upside because the indicator is indicating that there's gaining momentum. Momentum to the upside is starting to gain in strength, if you will, at that point. Another thing that Wells Wilder mentioned that he felt was pretty significant, and I've done this on several occasions in trading as well and found it to be effective, something that he called swing failure. We have our 70 and our 30 lines, which are the two most critical lines in the RSI. And what he's indicating is swing failure above 70 here is the RSI moves above the 70 line. In this case, the number 73 here. And then it retraces a bit, and then it moves up to 80, all the way up to 80, comes to the downside, and makes another swing to the top side, hence swing. Swings up again, but it only gets up to 77 in this case. It doesn't take out the previous high. This is what he calls swing failure. And then another critical aspect of this is it doesn't take out the previous high, and then when it goes down, it takes out this low and that low. And that's what he indicates as swing failure, and there's a great likelihood, he feels, that that pair is then going to continue from that point onto the downside. So when you have swing failure above 70 or swing failure below 30, that's a pretty good indication that the pair is going to move, in from the 70 range down or from the 30 range up. And a couple of Wells Wilder's devotees, when they're looking at the RSI indicator and that, they've come up with something else here that is, I believe, kind of impactful as well when using the RSI, and that's something called range shift. When the RSI has been in the 80 to 40 range, there's more of a bullish bias, in other words, an upside bias to the currency when the RSI has consistently been in that particular area. Or when the RSI is in the 60 to 20 range down here, there's more of a bearish bias, a downside bias to the pair. Also, when you see the range shift, if it's been in 60 to 20, if it's been in that range and then moves up into the 80-40 range, that's going from a bullish bias to a bearish bias, or vice versa. Very good. I hope this has provided some insight for you in how I use the RSI in my trading. And I want to thank you for watching, and good luck with your trading.